exciting. Oh my goodness.
Can you see us?
Yes. Here we are.
Okay. So we'll wait to see if we've got a few people coming in, watching us. Looks like there's one person.
Oh, this is so exciting. Thank you.
It's a bit of a delay. Instagram? Good.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome everybody. Welcome to our first session in a long time of our live feed on Instagram and as well as Facebook. And today we have the lovely Mareike with us. Yay! She's been so excited to come on this live video feed. We've just been chatting about it. And it's wonderful to have you tonight, and I'm sure we can have a lovely time together. So, Mareike, we go back, I ended up in one of your yoga classes for quite a while, and that's where we became connected.
Many years ago.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I remember Ben was just a baby.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, wow, and he's already 7.
He's 7, about to turn 8.
So I had my son helping me with the whole techno thing, and she said Ben helps her, and he's only 7, and that's so sweet. So Mareike, born in Germany, and what else can you tell us about your travels, your background? I know you're a life coach as well, a leadership coach, and a yogi by heart, and also teach yoga and meditation.
Exactly, all of that.
So tell us more or less, just a little briefly, your background. Born in Germany, raised.
Yeah, so it's almost like my life's got like two halves, 2 parts. There's the time of growing up in Germany, going off to university, studying, being like up here in my head, literally, 24/7. And then I had a bit of a breakdown, a hearing, like a nervous breakdown. My hearing broke down, and then I found yoga, or yoga found me, as yogis tend to say. And then from there I decided, no, I'm done with all of this. I'm done with PhD studying, all of it. I'm out of here. I got myself a one-way ticket to India to become a yoga teacher.
Wow, was that your main aim, going to India?
Yeah.
I'm going to become a yoga teacher.
It was a very German, okay, I want to become a yoga teacher, and because I was so proper and so German, and so in my head, it was like, obviously I go to India to become a yoga teacher. I'm not interested in India, but I'll go to do it properly. And then I went, and India just like swallowed me up, and I stayed for 8 months.
Wow!
And traveled and worked, and then India let go of me again and spit me out into South Africa, and that's how I got here.
Well, we welcome you. We thank goodness we got you. And you've been very inspirational in my life as well. I think doing your classes, and there was definitely a role that you played. You often say, when the right teacher appears, when you're ready for it. And I really find there's a lot of truth in that, and that when you find the right teacher, they will appear. Likewise, when you find the right student, they will just appear. And it's almost like a connection that happens for a reason at that particular time. And I think it's definitely valuable.
It's kind of like we all talk about the same thing, essentially, in yoga, meditation, coaching. But then you meet someone who finds different words for something, and suddenly something you might have heard a million times, suddenly it's like, oh, is it that? I got it. And I think because I come from crazy up there in my head, not in my body at all, not fit, growing up as a couch potato on junk food, I've journeyed, and so I can sort of
pick up,
resonate with everyone along the way.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Because I was there. I've not been thrown into this world as a yogi and as a sporty and as a joyful person. I've moved through depression and through all sorts of things. So maybe that's where I get a good feel for people.
Yes, and it definitely must help. I mean, any experience that you've had, if you can share it with people and they can connect with just that aspect, it really does help people along their journey. So speaking of which, tonight's topic, which is really exciting, Mareike threw this topic out there, and I think it's a great one. So just resonate with us what the topic is. How can we make this place?
Yeah, let's make this world a better place. So I had all sorts of topics written down, and then I thought, no man, go big or go home.
Yep.
And I really, truly, in the depth of my heart, I believe it's possible for us to nudge this world into making it a better and more beautiful place, each and every one of us, through our beingness in this world, and through tapping into something inside that is strong and grounded and light and beautiful, and then just by doing our day-to-day lives. So we don't need to be tied to a Greenpeace boat saving whales.
No.
We can be, but just by walking through our day-to-day lives and like sharing our light, I like to say.
Love it.
And inspiring, I think what we've also talked about as well, inspiring others to show up. And we do that through showing up ourselves. And as you know, that's been quite a journey for me to translate those words into doing.
Sure.
Because it's easy as
to
a
just
life coach to say, hey, show up. I'll just sit here. And then to realize, okay, no, I have to show up. I have to strip myself bare to actually walk the talk, talk the walk.
Walk the talk. It's a brilliant saying. I love it. And especially as a yoga teacher or a teacher, teaching others is all very well, but unless you don't do the work yourself, you can't really help them.
Yeah, we can't really help anyone, which goes back to how I believe we can make this world a better place. As we can only just share our own journey and our own struggles and our own daily effort to actually get back up each time we fall and say, you know what, no, I'm going to do this again, and I'm going to try again, and I'm going to show up again. And then sharing that with others. That's the only way to teach, I believe. We can't really ever teach anyone.
No.
Through words.
And do you find that maybe during this particular challenging time for a lot of people, it is more difficult to show up? Or do you think it's norm, it's part of the normal life, day-to-day living? Or do you think it's more challenging to actually prove your worth, to try and show up, to be a better person?
You mean these times with where we're at?
Where COVID.
Yeah, well, what I notice is that because we were locked down, all the distraction faded away. And I notice a lot more people waking up sort of like, hey, what am I actually doing here? Suddenly you can't numb yourself with busy, you're locked up at home, and questions come up. So we're not out there anymore, we're forced to be inside, and so we're forced to turn our gaze inside. And then there's these questions of, what am I actually doing with my life? And who am I? And so through that I find a lot more people are asking these important questions of, who am I in this world, and how could I possibly make more of this? How could I show up? How could I, this little feeling, I don't know if you ever know this, I remember growing up with this feeling in my heart, this little thing that would say, there's more. There's something more, there's something I'm not getting, there's something more.
There's a curiosity that you need to, it's almost like satiate when you're younger, and then it grows and grows, and there's always, I was exactly the same, always yearning for more, always looking for more.
Yeah.
But I think specifically in these times, a lot of people have turned inward and go, wow, there is more, and I've got to find more.
Because the more is not out there.
No. And the more is not in clothing.
Yes,
sorry, you back.
You know, we do all these crazy things.
Yes.
Like I did all this traveling around the world looking for this thing. Doing courses, getting certificates and more, or extreme sports, and like just finding this, and then suddenly we locked down, and I mean, for me it was also intense, even though I've been traveling this journey of exploration for a long time now. Suddenly locked down, I'm like, yo, this is hard. And then eventually it popped, and it's like, oh, there's that thing that I've been looking for all these years. There it is, in here. Oh.
Right there.
Right here.
Yeah.
It's always been there.
I think that there's a lot of people out there that are, and you know, comment if you can, if you'd like to comment. Just try and maybe say, what is it that you found? But I also found that there's definitely something there that during this time was sort of nurtured.
So to bring it together a bit, you know, it's easy to talk about, to see like, what is this thing? And my understanding of the world and of being human and being a human being in this amazing world is that what I've learned is that we can do life from very much a conceptual space, so life lived through our ideas, through our psychology, through our identity and our persona, and the stories through life we have attached to ourselves. So I'm this, I'm that, and I like this and I don't like that. And so we can do life from that space, like an ego headspace. Or what I've learned, this thing, is we can do life from a space of, I call it being, because it's non-conceptual. It's very much present moment, here and now, and it's about witnessing and noticing all that is part of this beautiful moment without getting caught in it. And so, I mean...
And we tend to do that a lot. We want to get caught up. It's almost like the drama, you know,
it's like we make
the drama of our life.
That's the human condition, so to say, that we have these... I always say it's like going to a movie theater and forgetting that you're watching the movie, you're not in the movie.
No.
And we walk around stuck in our own movies and like, oh, this is so horrible. Oh no, you can just change the channel.
Yes.
We forget.
Yeah. I have to remind myself a lot not to play the victim, and I think that's essentially what it is as well, is you like to play the victim, or we as human, we do like playing victim.
That's one of the roles.
Sorry. Sorry for you.
Yeah.
You know, and it's time that we take responsibility and not play the victim and not be caught up.
Yeah, because ultimately the essence of it is that life doesn't happen to us, but if you just rephrase that, and which is probably one of the great tools to do, it's like, it happens, what if life happens for you? What does that change? And just sort of sensing and sitting with that and adding, I find the golden key to everything is adding curiosity. So instead of saying, good, bad, more, less, should not, to take a step back, and we can physically do that in our bodies, like just take a step back, take a breath and go like, interesting. Interesting. And that can refer to the world out there, and the same to the world in there. You know, there can be a thought, and I can get stuck in it and be like, I need to solve this. But I can also have this thought and sit back and be, curious, interesting. What an interesting thought. And then we open up the space of choice, because then I can choose to pick it up and run with it, or I can choose to just let it be and find a different thought.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. So you said there's tools that we can use. So if you're sitting out there and you're watching us and you're thinking, how on earth can I be more awake and be more present and turn inwards? There are tools. So you said that you might have a few that you're going to give away for us today. So let's put it out there maybe.
For me, we've mentioned a few already.
Okay.
The keyword, a nudge word is like curiosity.
Okay.
Add curiosity to wherever you are. Open yourself up to awe and wonder. So once you notice your head going into judgment, take a step back. It's like, oh no. Not knowing, curiosity. And then the other keyword I like that you used is taking responsibility.
Responsibility.
And the way I remind myself is I have little post-its floating around saying life doesn't happen to me, it happens for me. So then that changes the quality of each experience. So then if I feel heartbreak, it's so tempting to go and be like, oh, poor me, this is horrible, and the person did this terrible thing
to me.
Oh. And then if I catch it early enough and I go, okay, this is happening for me, so what's then there's curiosity opening up, right? If it happens for me, and if everything in life happens to help us grow and evolve and get to know ourselves a little more deeply, then there's curious. And the interesting thing is when we are curious, we're not fearful, we're not afraid, we're not angry. Those emotions
like
step
to
away.
venture into it.
Yeah. So that's one of the things to just sort of use in day-to-day life. And then at essence, as I said before, there's this headspace to do life in, which we all get caught in all the time, and all the long traditions of spiritual development speak about meditation and being still. So I use these tiny micro meditations throughout the day, which is really just sort of like a shift. It's practicing our muscle to be able to switch off our brains, to find that button, that on and off button, so that this brain doesn't run our life, but actually we switch it off for a moment and remember that there's more.
Yes.
And so the tool for that would be a
micro meditation,
a little present moment meditation. And there's no need to talk about it, because then we're in our conceptual reality. So it's basically just, I would suggest breaking your habitual sitting patterns. And so putting feet on the ground really helps. Maybe hands onto legs or wherever they're comfortable, and straighten up. You might notice, you might think you're straight,
but you actually have to be aware.
And when you straighten up, you realize, I wasn't at all. And then just closing eyes, and it doesn't even have to be eyes closed in a day, but just for now, let's do that. Closing our eyes, and I wiggle my shoulders up and down as I tend to squeeze them up to ears.
Most people do that,
especially in winter, the season of cold nicks. So shoulders down, close your eyes, and then taking a deep breath. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, and open your mouth and breathing it out. Let's do 2 more of these. Fill yourself up, feel your body expand, and open mouth, and one more deep inhale through the nose. Feel yourself expand and exhale it all out. And then simply letting your breath be for a moment, just witnessing it. And like I said earlier, it's remembering that you're a viewer in a movie theater, so you're taking a step back within yourself, and it might actually feel like leaning back a bit, like softening into yourself, and then simply noticing. I usually start with sounds, so there might be sounds close by, a clock ticking, there might be birds or cars, the sea, and becoming really curious. So what we're doing now is we adding spaciousness to our being. We're expanding. We're moving beyond this boundary of body, beyond these walls, and we're moving outwards. And then from there, sort of coming back in, taking that spaciousness with, and I find every inhalation is this great reminder of the space that we really are, because we sort of expand through our body. And then every exhale, breathing out whatever is not part of this moment. So really grounding into senses. Feel your feet ground, feel your sit bones ground into chair, feel your hands rest wherever they're resting. Let your shoulders drop. And imagine yourself breathing in through your spine, through your sit bones or your root, up into crown. So every inhale makes your spine a little longer, and then with every exhale, like a fountain, your breath comes out the crown of your head, flows over your face, shoulders, back, ribs, and so there's a softening, a peripheral softening with every exhale. Every inhale you grow tall and expansive, and with every exhale you just gently soften. Simply sensing all that is part of this moment. And then slowly, when you're ready, opening eyes and just noticing if this sense of presence and softness, if there's a way you can bridge that into your next action, into the rest of the day. Really being, notice there's a whole different,
very different energy
suddenly.
There is.
All this fades away, and there's a wholeness, there's a sense of coming home.
Yes, absolutely.
And what I notice in my teaching practice and in my coaching practice is that we all know this space, we all have access to this space, to this sense of being and the sense of wholeness, and like where it's just like, life's good, world's okay, and we feel capable and able. But what I notice is that we separate that from day-to-day life.
We do.
We leave it on our yoga mat, we leave it on our meditation pillow, we leave it in our therapy session.
Sure.
And that's not what it is. It's meditation ultimately is a way of being. It's a way of being in the world, and to practice this, we practice this to then be able to be wherever we are, whatever the shitstorm is that surrounds us, to remember, there's a space inside me that's grounded and calm, and then to be able to come back to that. Now offer you a sip of tea.
I was going to say.
There you go.
Obviously something meant to happen that's coming to the throat.
And this is a good example.
It is.
Immediately it pulls us up into shouldn't be like this, mustn't be like that. We go back into living life through our ideas and stories.
It's so true.
And then to just notice that and come back to, it is this moment, part of this moment.
It is.
Curious.
Yes.
Interesting.
What's meant to happen? Who knows?
It is.
It is what it is.
It is. I like one of the things, so I read a lot and I enjoy Chopra's work. I quite like it.
Yeah.
And I remember he says the very best, and I use that in my leadership work a lot, because there's this obsession with pros and cons and strategy and planning. And Chopra says, the best and most powerful way to prepare for any future that's possible is to actually be fully present with the here and now. It just makes so much sense,
And it's so, like you were saying earlier, it's available to us. And yet we go see counselors, we see life coaches, we see therapists, and all you need to do is just access this moment right here, right now. And it's something that's so, it can be a part of our everyday life. We just need to take that step back and access it.
It's like our home base. But what I just want to add, it's like we make it sound as if it's like, why not be here all the time? It's so simple, it's so easy.
Yes.
But it's not, because we also, it's scary. We are so used to living in our ideas, in our concepts, in our images and stories. Being present means being willing to let go of all of that, being willing to stand at the edge of the cliff and actually to leap, not knowing what, not knowing how. So we have our reasons why we forget to meditate. We have our reasons why we set the intention of going onto the yoga mat and then we don't do it. We have our intentions to be present with our children, our loved ones. We want it, we seek it, because that's the only place we find this fullness of life. But it's also scary because we're vulnerable and it's intimate. We have to share our deepest in ourselves. And the reason we have these concepts and these identity things is to protect ourselves, to be safe in this world. So I don't know, I do workshops and sometimes I call them mindfulness is not for sissies. It
makes sense.
Isn't.
It isn't.
It's not like you slow down and pause and all you find is bliss and flowers and sunlight and love. But which you slow down and you look inwards and you see painful things
that we've tried to hide.
We might have run from all our lives, and they come up, and to be able to hold the space and like be like, okay, this too is just part of this moment. This too shall pass. This to find the space to witness these challenging spaces as well.
But do you think maybe going deeper into mindfulness and deeper into meditation, it obviously brings it up, but these little moments throughout the day, would that also bring up all that stuff?
Yeah, you might realize what I found that as I started becoming more present with here and now and people around me and myself, I noticed that I'm not the nice person I always thought I was. I noticed I was actually pretty cut. So you might know, but you might also notice, hey, I'm a lot nicer than my head tells me I am. So, and ultimately, we can say, is it this, is it that? Ultimately, if you look at it, life only happens here and now. Like this moment
right here, right now
is life. Like everything else is imagination. The past and the future, it's just a story. So life happens here now. And if anywhere in your heart you feel like you'd like to live a full life, then there's no way around being
right here,
right now, in the fullness of it, in the shitstorminess of it, in the beauty of it, in everything. So, because this is your life, this moment. And it's simple, not easy.
It's not easy. But simple sometimes can be complex. So we've gone through, so you said the tools, curiosity, responsibility, meditations throughout the day. Anything else you can think of that you can share, that you think you can add to the toolkit? Even if we just get to 4 or 5 things, maybe.
I believe what's very powerful is setting and having an intention.
And we know that in yoga. That's so...
Just the intention of like, I I don't wake up as the best version of me every single day.
No,
Definitely not.
No, we're human. No, definitely not.
So I set the intention every single day to be the best version of me, and so setting the intention, and it links in with curiosity, having the intention of, I want to learn, I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, I'm not here to know, I'm here to grow. And so really make that an active thing, like personal development, if we want to call it that.
Or is to set an intention.
It doesn't just happen.
No.
It's a conscious choice again and again.
And it doesn't have to be something unique or something out there that's spiritual. You can even choose love. An intention, I choose love. A little mantra, just I choose whatever. I choose peace. Trust. It's little key words that maybe help you throughout your day. Throughout the week.
Beautiful.
It doesn't have to be a complex intention.
And then the other thing I would suggest is we are embodied beings, and to start mindfulness and meditation to shift into witnessing just from a place of quietness is quite a it's kind of impossible. So
it's a
takes
challenge.
a bit of steps in between.
Sure.
So I would suggest maybe once a day be out of breath, really powerful, to just be in our bodies. So many of us, we are on computers and we in our heads so much, and I'm speaking from experience.
Sure.
I think until I turned in my mid-20s, this was just it was kind of there, I didn't like it, and it wasn't very helpful, and I was fully living my life up here, and I'm assuming I'm not the only one.
No, you're not.
And so every day do something that's in your body. I love running because it gets me out of breath, it pushes my limits, but also to do yoga, or a magic thing I find, which is totally undervalued, is stretching. Assuming, our bodies and our minds are linked. So when, you probably know this, when you get stressed, the body contracts.
Yes.
And when you're relaxed, when you're happy, joyful, there's a sense of, So we can work on our state of mind, on our mode of being through the mind, but we can also work through our body. Yes. So I can notice tension and I can consciously relax it, and you might find your mind relaxing. Or there's Amy Cuddy is her name. I think she's this amazing researcher on posture, on how we hold ourselves in our body, how that relates to how we think about ourselves and how we feel within ourselves. So she does these things called power poses, she would say before a job interview, like the Wonder Woman thing, and just playing with these things, playing with our body and stretching and very powerful. So there's a whole lot of things we can just sort of feed into our day-to-day being and life that makes such a big difference.
Oh, I get that, and I think that the body-mind connection is definitely all part of it as well. I mean, because you can't just be thinking about the present moment and not knowing that you have this body with you. You have to include the body.
Yeah, because the body allows us to experience the present moment.
Yes, so we all want to be yogis and we all want to stand on the mountain and go, I'm not my body, but you are your body. Your body is part of you.
Yeah, I don't think it's a goal to be sitting on top of the mountain. I think it's as human beings we want to.
I just think that's the image that mindfulness carries with it.
It's really for me, meditation is really simply being awake and being aware of what is happening.
For sure.
And I mean, how cool is that? Doing life, being present.
Yes.
That doesn't sound very spiritual to me. It sounds like that's a good way of being human, to sit here and actually be with you rather than sit here and be in my head. Sounds like a very down-to-earth, grounded sort of thing.
So you're saying movement in any form is kind of like getting out of your head, your head space.
I find. With the intention. Having intention of being present.
While you're doing it. Not just running for the sake of running or doing yoga because it looks cool or,
Yeah, that's beautiful because it's good you say that because it's not about what we do. It's about how we do it, what our mindset is with it. Yes. You can do yoga and be completely in your head.
Yes, for sure.
or you can make dinner and that can be your yoga practice because you are present.
Sure.
You witness your hands doing magic with food.
Sure.
And same with running. I mean, you can run and solve the world's problems in your head. Or you can run and really use that as a way to drop back into body and to drop back into presence and to drop back into your life. Like so many people I work with and they're like, I really want to live this full life. How can I do this? And they think about it and it's like you can't think of a life. A full life needs to be lived.
Yes.
And when you really live your life, the amazing thing is that your day, how many people say, I keep running out of time. I wish there was more time. When we're present, the most awesome thing is that time just disappears. Like a day can feel like an eternity. It's like, oh wow, this morning I did that. And there's so much time to do so much, and there's so many, every moment is so rich and so deep. And the more you get into it, it's just, eventually you walk around just like in awe because there's so much going on each and every moment.
And that's your curiosity comes in there. It's like, wow, what's in it? Yeah, I love this moment. And the same with us. I love this moment. I love what we're doing, and it's just so powerful. Being here with you, being present with you, and I love the fact it's one of my favorite topics.
It's so worthwhile sharing.
Yes. So we've got curiosity. Remember that responsibility, which ties into the curiosity. Meditations throughout the day, little mini meditations. So even breath, I was thinking. You were saying. The breath, I mean, you can bring that into just breathing, like you were giving that example of how to breathe. It's just being aware of the breath, and it just helps so much. It's so intentional, so powerful.
It's always there, wherever we are.
And then intention, and intention can be very simple, choosing a word. And then also, you said, doing a little something with your body. So that's maybe the fifth thing. That using your body in a form of exercise, running, doing some yoga, but with intention. Even something like, I was thinking when you were talking, maybe people, you were saying, go out there and do something with your body. It could be simple like walking on the beach or walking without shoes on.
Walking around
the garden. Your office block.
So, so when you noticing, I mean, the key to it is the practice of noticing. But when you notice that there's like a lot of problems and then we want to solve the problems by thinking even more, to then just continuously pause and just walk around the block.
Notice.
Just expand your vision,
Go your senses. Smell the roses.
And going somewhere where there's a horizon and where there's not four walls, where we can spread out.
Okay, so the vision
our nervous system calms down because it sort of gets into, I can see why, I can see safe. In small spaces, offices and houses, we go into this fight or flight visions. Our nervous system is on high alert, especially if we focus on one thing all the time. So once in a while to just go outside and remember that
yes.
there's a vast blue sky
yes.
in the world out there.
Yes.
Just that does magic. Our nervous system is like, oh, okay, we're safe. No lions, no
yes.
tigers, okay.
Sure. Yeah.
And then going back into whatever we're busy with,
yes.
with that new, more
yes.
grounded sense.
I like that. I often do that at night. I wouldn't say I do that during the day, because today, you know, you're outside and you're doing things. I'm always doing something. But sometimes at night I just step outside and just look at the sky. And it's like, whoa. That's amazing.
How cool is that?
Even if there's stars, if there's no stars, it's just being aware of this magic outside.
Because we live in a pretty awesome world. And human beings are pretty amazing. So that's why I think that together, if we just pay attention, we can really make this and keep this a really awesome place to live.
Absolutely.
For our kids to live in, and
yes.
for their kids to live in.
Yes.
My heart is filled with hope.
Yes.
I think
Me
this
too.
is amazing.
So. I agree, and that's it. Is turning inwards, putting it out there, and being amazing in this world.
Shine your light.
Thank you, and thank you for shining your light. I'll just see if anybody has any questions. Got some amazing people that have joined us, and looks like no one has questions, but quite a few people have joined and all watching.
Beautiful.
And yeah, thank you, and thank you very much for your presence and your light. And I would love to have another session with you. Absolutely awesome, and showing us some more tools. But today has been really great, and I value that you've shared that with us.
Thank you. It was
You're
such
welcome.
an honor and a pleasure to be here.
Yes.
It was quite dense, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
A lot of things we tapped into. Beautiful.
Oh.
Thank you for allowing me to be here.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're welcome. So you can find Mareike as well at, what is your MindBodyBeing?
MindBodyBeing. So there's a website, MareikeBrase.com. There's Instagram, there's a Facebook, Mareike Brase, MindBodyBeing.
I'll put it on the...
Yeah, there's a phone number.
I'll put it all on here.
So yeah, it'd be beautiful to connect.
Yes.
I teach online live classes, private yoga, coaching, all sorts of
all
things.
Sorts of things.
Yeah.
Thank you, and thanks for sharing the talents with the world.
Thank you.
Namaste. That word.